The train screeched into the muddy little station of Briarwood as dusk spilled a gold-red light across the rails, and Elena Hart, clutching the worn leather handle of her single suitcase, stepped down into a world that smelled of pine, rain, and the kind of silence that made a person feel exposed. She felt every eye in town glance her way, because everyone knew when a mail-order bride arrived, news traveled fast in places where the population was smaller than the number of secrets they shared. She pulled her shawl tighter around her shoulders, trying to hide the tremble of uncertainty that ran through her bones. She had answered the newspaper notice because life back in the city had left her with nothing but debts and bruises on her heart, and the promise of a new beginning, even as someone's purchased companion, felt better than the emptiness she had crawled away from. But the man who had written to her, a widowed rancher named Thomas Whitlock, was nowhere in sight. Instead, as the platform emptied and the train whistle faded into the distance, Elena found herself alone under the lantern's growing shadows until she heard the soft, hesitant sound of small boots scraping the wooden planks. Turning, her eyes locked on a little girl with tangled honey-brown hair, holding a patched doll against her chest like a fragile piece of hope. She couldn't have been more than 6. Her dress was mismatched, her cheeks streaked with dust, but her eyes, wide, green and rimmed, with the kind of wisdom no child should carry, were fixed on Elena with a mix of fear and desperate longing. Are you Miss Elena?" the child whispered. Her voice cracked like she hadn't spoken freely in a long time, like words were something she had learned to hold in, not let out. Elena knelt, softening her expression. "Yes, sweetheart, I'm Elena. And what's your name?" The girl swallowed, gripping her doll tighter. "Lily." A breeze rustled through the station, carrying a sadness in it, as though the whole town exhaled for her. "Lily, do you know where your papa is?" Elena asked gently, though her stomach tightened, already sensing something was wrong. That was when Lily lifted her chin, fighting tears that made her voice wobble, and said the sentence that stitched itself into the deepest chambers of Elena's heart forever. "You need a home, and I need a mommy." The words hung between them, trembling, powerful, the kind of plea that rewrites a person's destiny. Elena blinked, thrown off balance. Children said innocent things, but nothing about Lily felt naive or thoughtless. It felt like a truth carved from loneliness. "Your father sent you?" Elena asked softly. Lily shook her head, stepping closer until her small fingers brushed the hem of Elena's skirt. "He's gone. The men took him away yesterday. They said he owed money. They said he won't come back." Fear rippled through Elena, fear of what she didn't know, fear of what she might already understand. "Who took him?" she whispered. Lily's lips trembled. "Bad men. They said the ranch belongs to them now. They said I can stay until they sell it." Oh, she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. Elena felt heat rise in her chest, a spark of protective rage for a child. She had known less than 5 minutes, but already sensed carried too much suffering. "Did you come here alone?" Elena asked. Lily nodded, wiping her nose with her sleeve. "I saw your name in Papa's things. He wrote letters. He said you were coming. He said maybe you could help us." She paused, then whispered, "I don't have anyone else." Miss Elena. And there it was, the invisible chain linking their lives. Elena had come here expecting to step into a man's house, maybe endure his temper or his roughness in exchange for shelter, food and a chance to breathe again. She had not expected a child. She had not expected that the man was already gone. She had not expected to become the only hope in the fragile world of a lonely little girl. Yet as she looked into Lily's desperate eyes, Elena felt something shift inside her, something she thought she had lost after years of loss, betrayal, and fighting for survival, the instinct to protect, to nurture, to be something more than a discarded woman running from her past. "Come here," Elena whispered, opening her arms. Lily stepped into them carefully at first, like she didn't know if she was allowed. Then all at once, like she couldn't stop herself, the small body trembled against her chest, and Elena held her tightly, letting the child's quiet sobs soak. into her shawl as the last train of the evening disappeared in a cloud of smoke. "It's all right," Elena murmured, stroking her hair. "You're not alone. I'm here now." When Lily eventually pulled back, her tiny hand slipped into Elena's like it belonged there. She pointed down the old dirt road leading out of town. "The ranch is far. We have to walk." Elena nodded, lifting her suitcase. They set off together under the rising moon. The path twisted through fields that whispered in the wind, tall grass brushing against Elena's skirt, while silence held the space between them. After nearly an hour, Lily spoke again, her voice thin but steady. "Are you going to stay?" Elena swallowed hard. "I don't know what I'm allowed to do yet." Lily looked up at her with eyes too old for her age. "Maybe you could be my mommy." "I don't need a perfect one. Just someone who won't leave." Elena stopped walking. Her breath hitched. She had run from her own broken past, from a life where people left or hurt or used each other. She had planned to earn a place in a stranger's home. She had not expected a child to offer her a place in hers. "I won't leave you," Elena whispered, surprising herself with the certainty in her voice. "Not ever, Lily, I promise." Lily squeezed her hand tightly in response, and the rest of the walk felt less like strangers moving through darkness and more like two souls finding their way toward something they had been missing for far too long. When they finally crested the hill overlooking the Whitlock ranch, Elena understood immediately why people had once called it one of Briarwood's finest, because, even in its current state of abandonment, the place had an echo of beauty in its bones. A sprawling farmhouse with faded blue shutters, a barn missing a few boards, fences leaning after years of weather, and fields swallowing themselves in wild grass. But Elena also saw signs of something darker, hoofprints circling the property, broken porch rails, the remains of a fire smoldering near the barn, and a padlock on the stable door. Lily hesitated at the edge of the property. "They come at night sometimes," she whispered, "looking for things. Looking for Papa's money." A cold shiver ran down Elena's spine. "You shouldn't stay here alone." Lily shook her head. "I hide in the cellar. They don't look there." The fact that she said it so casually broke something inside. "Elena," she crouched down, holding Lily's shoulders. "Lily, listen to me. You don't hide anymore. Not with me here." The child nodded slowly, as if unsure whether she was allowed to believe in such a thing. Elena pushed open the creaking front door. The house smelled like dust and old memories. The parlor was cluttered with overturned furniture, footprints across the floor, and papers scattered like someone had searched for something. Lily's voice drifted faintly behind her. "They were angry. They wanted Papa's ledger." Elena frowned. "Did your father keep records of something important?" The girl nodded. "Papa said he had proof that the men weren't good men." Elena's pulse quickened. Evidence, debt collectors, a missing father, and now a vulnerable child. She exhaled, steadying herself. "We'll find it," she murmured. "Whatever your father left behind, we'll find it." They ate a simple supper of bread and cold beans that Lily had kept hidden in the pantry, then settled in a small upstairs bedroom with a single bed. Lily fell asleep almost instantly, her hand curled around Elena's arm like a lifeline. Elena lay awake for a long while, staring at the ceiling as the wind rattled the shutters and the distant howl of coyotes echoed across the fields. She realized she hadn't been this afraid or this determined in years. She had come to Briarwood looking for a place to belong, but instead she had found a child who needed saving, and deep in her bones a fire was beginning to burn. She would protect Lily, whatever it took. She closed her eyes, unaware that somewhere beyond the hills, 3 men on horseback were riding toward the ranch with lanterns and cold intentions, searching for the ledger Thomas Whitlock had hidden, the one they believed Lily now had access to. And Elena had no idea that by sunrise she would no longer be just a mail-order bride or a frightened woman seeking refuge. She would become the only shield standing between a terrified child and the darkness closing in. And so their story truly began, born from loneliness, bound by fate, and strengthened by the kind of love that grows not from blood, but from the choice to stay. The first light of dawn crept, through the cracked window panes of the Whitlock farmhouse, casting long, trembling shadows across the worn wooden floor. Elena woke with a start, her heart pounding, not from the cold, but from a sense of unease she couldn't shake. Lily was still asleep beside her, clutching the doll close, innocent and unaware of the danger creeping closer. Elena slipped quietly from the bed, her eyes scanning the room. The silence was heavy, the kind that presses down before a storm breaks. Downstairs, the old wooden door creaked softly. Elena froze, every nerve alert. Her breath caught as a shadow moved outside the window. Her mind raced. Had the men come back? Was this the moment when everything they had fought to hold on to would be ripped away? She grabbed the rusty kitchen knife from the counter, feeling its cold metal steady her trembling hands. The footsteps grew louder. She glanced back at the bedroom door. Lily was waking now, her small voice trembling as she called out, "Miss Elena!" Elena's grip tightened on the knife. She crept toward the stairs, the floorboards creaking underfoot like betrayers. As she reached the bottom step, the door burst open, letting in 3 rough men with hard eyes and harsher intentions. "Where's the ledger?" The tallest barked, his voice like gravel. Elena's voice was firm, surprising even herself. "I don't know what you're talking about." The men laughed, cruel and cold. "Don't play games. Your father had it. We want it. And if you don't give it up, the girl pays the price." Eleanor's gaze darted to Lily's door. She needed a plan. She couldn't let them take her, this child who had become her reason to fight. "You'll have to go through me first," she said, stepping forward, knife raised. The men hesitated, sizing her up. In that moment, something inside Elena snapped. She was no longer a scared woman who had come to Briarwood seeking shelter. She was a protector, a mother in all but blood. The men lunged, but Elena's resolve was fierce. She dodged, slashed, and pushed with a desperation born from love and fear. The struggle was chaotic, harsh, the sound of wood splintering, the thud of bodies hitting floorboards. Finally, the men fled, cursing and beaten, leaving Elena panting and shaking in the wrecked kitchen. She ran upstairs, gathering Lily into her arms, holding her like the most precious thing in the world. "We're safe now," Elena whispered, though neither truly believed it. Outside, the sun climbed higher, promising a new day, but Elena knew the real fight was just beginning. Together, they would face whatever darkness Briarwood hid, because a home wasn't just a place. It was the courage to protect those you loved. And a mommy was someone who never gave up.